Hello. Yes, streaming. That's what we're doing. What's going on? How's it going? Hello, Herb, and shout out at the start to Badly Peeled Potato, one of the better usernames I've ever seen. Badly Potato Peel. Thanks for the follow, bringing us. Where do I point? Where do I point? I point here. Oh. So close to the follow goal that we set as a joke. I guess that's how jokes work, right? To put a number in. Probably when we hit it, we'll have to think of an even funnier number that we should set follow goals to, like I don't know, 10 million. That feels like the next joke. Hello to Urban Mountain Ash in chat as well. In fact, hi, Neutrino. There's people. Oh, it's so nice to see people in chat, and Twitch tells me there's other people who are here but not in chat or whatever. But that's what's going on. Hi to anyone who's found us for the first time and seen that we're scheduled to start at 2 o'clock. It's like clockwork around here. I've got a bit of a throwback in a way. I want to do a bit of chill maths where I try and learn something. We used to do this semi-regularly. Haven't done it in a while. Feels like I should be learning stuff. Hi Mary, how you doing? Hope you're good. We'll see how it goes. I haven't done any of this like learning. For, oh gosh, we did a lot of number theory week after week, just looking at number theory, until it was a bit much. But I've got a cup of tea. I've got some quantum theory notes. I would like to know more quantum theory. It is a good mug. This is for people keeping track. The Pusheen mug has turned up several times on the Sunday chill math streams. Professional thing to do there would have been to finish my sentence before drinking tea, but sometimes you just got to interrupt yourself to drink tea. Right, good. Mary's doing well. I'm doing well, thank you. Right. So quantum notes these are quantum notes from the University of Oxford maths degree from somewhere in the second year. Something that I like to do, so the context here, something that I like to do for my first years is once they finish their exams, I send them this, it's not quite a problem sheet, but this like collection of problems for them to try that are all foreshadowing for their second year courses. So let's see if I can find it. I've got it on here somewhere probably. So it's this sheet of problems where each one is quite quick and doesn't actually like need them to know second year maths, but something for them to look at, some of the kind of foreshadow stuff, which I really enjoy having because it gives them something to do, but also it lets them try something out. Here it is. Yeah, okay, so this is the thing I want to update. It's my doc. Okay, exciting to know that just opens straight away on the screen that I'm streaming. Right, good to remember. It's like, which screen shall I open this on? Yeah, secondary monitor, go! Brilliant. Okay. So for example, I've got like this problem that I'm really pleased with about integration. I've probably done this. I think I've done this on the show before. That's kind of foreshadowing for the calculus of variations course. I've got something about waves, but I don't have anything about quantum, and I think I probably should. I've got a gap down here. So my aim is to try and build something that the first years can do over summer, just using first year maths. Or even not any first year maths, that kind of foreshadows a calculation or an idea from a second year course. The question, the bar's quite low. My other questions are stuff like explain why this is a good idea, which means like try it and see what happens. Doesn't matter if you don't find out what happens. There's a course on it in second year. So that's I think what I'm aiming for. Question 8 says something, and then for more something, see second year quantum mechanics. It's to help them make choices, I suppose. Predator-prey dynamics, we've done that on Maths Club as well. So some foreshadowing here. I'm allowed to use language that first year math students know, like this sort of thing, which I guess probably doesn't make sense to people not doing first year maths, but that's them. Right, this is really annoying. How do I get it to stop offering me this Ask AI assistant? And it's there as well, and it's also, oh gosh, it's just, I just want to view a PDF, right? Why does it need AI? I'm reading. Oh, okay, right. Maybe I'll get into it. Neutrino is fab. Good. Yeah. We did quite a lot to get them ready for first year, right? The first year's got its nice intro stuff, and then I worry a little bit that having given them quite a lot to do in first year, there's a big summer holiday before second year, and they're not really clear what's going to happen next. So yeah, Neutrino's got loads to do. Which year are you, Neutrino? Are you going into uni, or are you? You don't have to say, but and you don't want me to recommend resources because you've got too many. Right, what am I doing? Okay, so I'm going to try and write a quantum question for that. Going into year one. Okay. Also, that's just life, says Melton Ash. Yep. And once you start learning to learn, that you get to the point where you can access loads of material. So when I was getting ready for university, Wikipedia was just completely unreadable. Like lots of the math stuff that I was interested in, you look at the Wikipedia page and it's just complete nonsense. And now most of it still is nonsense, but some of it I can start to understand what they're getting at. So sort of the resources that are out there that you can't access, you start to get access to them. Right, yeah, so Neutrino does not want me to recommend like all of the summer projects. Okay. Here's the section from Quantum that I want to try and do. The way the Quantum course works. Have I talked about the Quantum course before? I'm not sure I have, but I'll just do it again. The way the Quantum course works at Oxford is that they see the differential equations in the first half of the course. Everything's done with the Schrodinger equation and stuff like that. But then in the second half, the course actually introduces some linear algebra, and everything's much better. And stuff with operators. Here are some operators. I think my worksheet summer project question thing is not going to. Not summer project. I think the summer project is not going to teach them about operators. I think we're going to pretend that these are just matrices. So I might rename them. I want to do something on these, I think. They've learnt about matrices having some properties to do like this. So I think I might disguise this a little bit by writing suppose M is equal to, and then this star, what does that mean? So it's self-adjoint operator. I think if I'm doing matrices, it needs to be Hermitian conjugate, I guess. Might need to look that up, but I think that's what I want. So this means do the transpose and complex conjugation. Flip it, but also complex conjugate all the numbers. Neutrino in chat, is that directed at me? If I can get out of random ads by rolling. Yeah, that's the thing I do, isn't it? No, is that good? How does it work? I'm panicking. Am I supposed to do something different from what I'm currently doing? Because what I'm currently doing is not running any ads, but it doesn't really work, does it? Because you get ads anyway. The ad money goes to charity, in the sense that if this Twitch channel ever weirdly makes money, then it's going to charity. Yeah. We're supporting Sutton Trust. The weird thing is that I've pre-committed, because I felt bad about this idea that maybe the channel never raises enough money to cash out and donate to charity, and then I feel bad because I've been saying in the slightly joking manner, oh, it's goodwill and it's for charity. So what I've actually done is I've pre-matched it so that it's time lagged the other way around. In the unlikely event it cashes out, we've already done that. But if I tell you that, then it's like, if I tell you that, then oh no. And now you, important thing is that you're not making me richer, which is not something you need to do. Yeah, for random ads in the first 10 seconds, they're pre-roll. If I do ads regularly, then it tells me something about pre-roll ads, which I don't really understand. I don't have any watch any ads when I start streaming. That wouldn't make any sense, but apparently you people do. If you're watching, right? Okay, I'll try and remember that. Maybe I'll run some ads. Exciting. Yeah, and also because content, right? Although in this case the content is just meta of chat about ads. Unmissable stuff. Sunday afternoon, chill maths. What are we doing? We're going to try and translate this into something that my first year students can do. While I'm doing it, I might try and talk about it and explain what's actually going on. Right, but I think no promises. So this n would be m. No. Oh no, what's m minus? No. What? No, I don't want m to be m. I don't want these to be equal. I've got two things. I've got an a and a b. I've got a plus and an a minus. Oh, maybe we'll just stick with these. Stick with this. Stick with this for now. A plus and an a minus. N is both of those together. So I suppose if I'm thinking about these as matrices that could act on a vector by matrix multiplication, then this is two matrices multiplied together. Yeah, I think I will use that language of what's going on here. A plus, can I call like m? No, stop translating it. Stop translating it. And then there's a hideous proof in these notes where it's kind of semi-hideous, isn't it, that things work out. It's to do with the fact in here, it's to do with the fact that these operators are actually pretty much multiply by x and differentiate. So take your function and multiply it by x. So the kind of operators you can do to a function. Let's try and draw those. So you could take your function and multiply it by x, or you could take your function and differentiate it. And if you give these operations names, like a and b, creative name choices, James, then what happens if you do a first? So a applied to f of x, and then b to that. Well, you'd multiply by x first and then differentiate, and product rule or something. Product rule tells you that that's f of x plus x f prime x, if you multiply by x and then differentiate. But if you do them the other way around, as operators, I'm putting loads of brackets in, not quite enough brackets in that last one. If you do them the other way around, then it says differentiate first and then multiply by x, and you get not the same thing. These things differ by function itself, which people sometimes call the kind of identity map, which just takes a function and returns the function kind of multiplied by the number 1, I guess. So there's some mixing around. Oh, hi, Super Snowman. Didn't see you there. Hi, Super Snowman. Welcome to the show. We're streaming some maths on Twitch, and we've gone back to actually streaming actual maths. Have you ever noticed that multiplication by x and differentiation don't commute? It matters what order you do them in. Differentiating and then multiplying by x is not the same thing as multiplying by x and then differentiating. These have got names in quantum mechanics up to factors of root 2 and I and h bar. These are position and momentum operators, more or less. And they've been combined together into these complicated operators. But these ones have got quite nice properties. I'm trying to summarize their nice properties for a kind of foreshadowing activity question for my first years, to give them a taste of what quantum mechanics with linear algebra is actually like. Anyway, something about these lecture notes that I've seen from reading through is that the style they like to do is they like to prove lemmas first, so like ideas, small ideas first, and then build up to the point of where we're going with this, which is one way around. I've separately seen other people who like to state the big thing first, and then the proof goes on for ages as we try and like go through lots of lemmas and lots of small pieces before finally, after my goodness, many pages, we get to the end. This set of lecture notes does things the other way around to sort of build up small things first. There's just two different styles, but this way around can feel a little bit more unmotivated if you don't know what's going to happen, and the other way around is really long proofs. Right, okay, I have annotated some of this before because I had a look at it beforehand while I was trying to work out what I wanted to do. So there's some notation up here that I'm going to try and translate. These square brackets, it is notation to mean AB minus BA. So it's kind of the fact that AB and BA aren't the same thing suggests that you could consider the difference between those. Proof afterwards. Yeah, sometimes separated by quite a lot. That and I've sometimes seen a kind of weird third way where people will state some lemmas, state some theorems, and then start proving the lemmas, and then prove the big thing using the lemmas, and you have to kind of realize, what are we proving? We've had all the statements up front, which is kind of like good because you want kind of statements up front of what we're going to do, maybe theorem and then some lemmas or something of how we're going to do it, and then all the proofs later on. It's kind of tricky that reading proofs is really hard. They sort of slow you down a lot, and that can stop you from seeing the big picture. There's something about reading maths in here, about reading it like, you're supposed to read it fast, then slow, then fast, is the thing that I always say. Good, okay, so we've got some notation with this commutation, which I'm not going to teach in my first years. I am going to spell things out for them. What do I want here? So this is kind of the important thing, that this thing, so A plus, now these are self-adjoint, well no, sorry, no, these are adjoints of each other. So maybe I could just write this as, suppose there's a matrix with M, what do I want to do? A, B, now we know what that symbol means, minus B, A equals the identity matrix. That would be fun. So those matrices don't commute. Matrices not commuting is something that they've spent a big chunk of time in first year thinking about, that matrix multiplication isn't commutative. Sorry, when I say commutative, I mean, does the order of operation matter? So for applying operators to something, you saw those differentiation operators and the multiplication by x operators. Does the order you do those things in matter? For matrix multiplication, people talk about whether A times B is the same thing as B times A. So maybe a kind of natural thing to think about is, what if they don't commute, but the difference is something we know? So these things not equal on the left, but the difference is kind of nice. Which is going to look totally random, but whatever. Also because these two matrices are related to each other. These operators in the quantum mechanics notes, A minus and A plus, are very similar combinations of position and momentum that appear in the Hamiltonian for the harmonic oscillator. Anyway, what are we going to do? So I'm going to think a lot about how I want, so N, let N be this. So I've got my kind of definitions and bits and pieces on the right. I mean, slightly smaller writing. I'm going to try and work out what this is. Okay, so what is going on then? I think I want to start here. There's some proof stuff, but these proofs are going to use, oh no, the first one is using these horrible definitions of quantum mechanics things like capital P and capital X and H bar that I'm definitely not explaining to my first years. And I've got this big note from the last time I read this to say that we're using some complicated relationship, but I want to see if I can do it without using that. That's definitely a good idea in the course. But what if, so here, the square brackets mean first thing, second thing, minus second thing's first thing. And there's two statements here because they put the plus minus sign in. So maybe I could just check then. So I think maybe this is just sort of easy to prove, or he says optimistically. So translating, I want to check that this thing is true. I want to check that this thing is true. So this will be this. I can't see why this is true at all, so this is good progress. We have one of these. Equals. Okay, so we have one of those where, right, this has got an m plus on the left. And it's just m plus on the left of the statement from above. And the other one is probably just going to be m on the right. So I've got m here, and then I cross this the other way. It's got m on the right, but otherwise is and a negative sign. A negative sign that had m on the right. So there. Okay. Bleh. Yeah, Planck constant divided by 2 pi. Yeah, I don't know what that means though. Part of this is I'm trying to learn quantum mechanics at the same time. I don't teach quantum mechanics in second year, but I'm trying to foreshadow it so that someone else can. And so that the students are ready for that. Gosh, helping people get ready to learn things that I don't really know. That's the challenge today. So I can wave goodbye to them and say, oh, look at this nice stuff we've done with multivariable calculus. Go and have fun with your second year courses. Bye. Wave bye, but give them a little PDF to take with them. Take this. Plus, also, I would like you to prove that tanh 1 is less than 16 over 21 using this weird gimmicky thing that I've got. Bye! I love that question so much. Tanh 1, it's only a little bit less than 16 over 21, so that's the thing. Right, okay, so I think this stuff down here, using all of these canonical commutation relations and Leibniz rules, I think I can just do that by left and right multiplying on the given statement. So I'm liking this so far, that you can kind of get the essence of the proof here of what's going on just by imagining it to be matrix multiplication. Matrices are kind of linear operators on vector spaces. They're sort of the same thing. Infinite dimensions, it's a bit weird. Let's not go there. Okay. How much do I want to do here? So, oh yeah, this is good. This is going to be fine. So, he says confidently. What am I doing? I think I'm writing m plus. Write m plus for a plus, and write m for a, because that's easier on my translation. So then I've got, and I'm going to, instead of writing, I'm going to write vector x for psi instead. So instead of having operators acting on wave functions with subscripts and Greek letters and stuff, I'm going to rephrase this in terms of matrices applied to vectors, which is kind of almost exactly the same, but it's a bit more familiar for the first years. And then when they get to quantum mechanics, they can, they'll have learned the operator stuff, and then they'll see this and think, oh yeah, this is just like that problem I did once with matrices. Okay. What does this mean? So this is the length of the vector. So it says something like, you apply the matrix to the vector, how large is that? And they know a trick for this, which is using all complex numbers and stuff. But what you're supposed to do is take this vector, do the Hermitian conjugate. Do I mean Hermitian conjugate? I've said it twice now. I'm getting cold feet. I think that's what I mean, which is this, using vector stuff. This is also partly for my I'm having fun. Okay, what's this then? So that's this on the left. I'm supposed to believe, oh yeah, so it's n, what we're calling this. Yeah, so that's just x plus. So there's this notation over here for basically doing a dot product between two vectors if we're translating it into vectors and matrices. It's bracket notation, which, oh gosh, who is it who said bracket a lot? Is it Dirac? For these kind of angle brackets with a vertical bar in between when you've got two wave functions. And the idea is that you multiply them together and integrate with a conjugate on the first one. But that's very similar to doing a dot product. So I'm going to think of it as just a dot product between two vectors. And I think I do want this conjugate in here. Considering whether I can just try and pretend everything's real and then just say transpose instead. Was that a Dirac thing? Yeah. Because the story is that he invented the phrase bra for the left one and ket for the right one. And after he'd said it a lot, somebody took him aside and explained that bra is already a word. But it stuck by then. Okay, right. This, no, that was an attempt at writing the letter. And there we go. Whereas this thing, so if you apply this matrix to that vector and then do the length of that, then you're going to get something very similar. I'm going to skip a line of working just by going over here, going like this, which is, right, okay, so this is not, this is not, this is 1 plus n, or something, I plus n, using the given fact, or something, which is kind of cool. They've got this kind of bold 1 over here, blackboard 1, to mean the operator that multiplies your function by the number 1 returns the same function. So that's maybe one of the nice things about doing probability, and probability's got one of those in it, and quantum has as well. It's kind of blackboard bold 1. I am resisting the urge to say capital numbers, but look, there you go. Fancy 1. Kind of bold. If you colour it in, it would look a bit more bold 1, I guess. It's more of a... I'm going to try colouring it in. It's gone terribly. Not an art stream. If you've just joined us, we're colouring in the number 1. An attempt to sort of learn quantum theory, but not really. Okay, that's kind of good because that tells me that... Oh, I was going to say it makes things larger. Is that true? Yeah, something like that. So if you give me a vector, I've got a choice of matrices that I might apply to it. And one of them, the length of the vector that I get is this expression. And in the other case, it's the same thing plus this, which is always positive. The point about doing the complex conjugate is... the point of doing a complex conjugate is that you get lots of sums of squares. Vector transpose, so a vector dotted with itself is a sum of squares. That works really well if they're real numbers because then things positive. But what if they're complex numbers? Oh no, your sum of squares is just a sum of complex numbers. So if you really find your kind of dot product to involve putting a conjugate on the first one, then when you dot a vector with itself, you get a sum of not the squares, but a sum of each component multiplied by its conjugate, which is real and square. It's a positive thing. Mod squared. Okay, so we'll go for matrix and its conjugate. Complex conjugate always makes has a slightly different effect on vectors. It's not the most stunning punchline for half an hour in, but there we are. So this is enough to get a kind of quantization thing down here. So skipping all of this proof with this n plus 1 in it, which we just replicated with matrices. So down here is I think what I want to do, because they've learned about eigenvalues and eigenvectors for matrices in first year. So an eigenvector eigenvalue pair is something like this. for some lambda, then we say x is an eigenvector. We say lambda is an eigenvalue, and it's kind of like having a direction where if the matrix sees a vector in that direction, it just returns a vector in that direction as well, but scaled by some amount lambda. I guess the surprising fact is that symmetric matrices always have these directions in some sense. I've said symmetric there as a kind of fudge because some matrices don't have eigenvectors. Okay, right, good. What are we doing? I don't want symmetric right now, do I? Probably not. Probably not. Okay. Right, here we go then. So it's going to be a little bit of maths like this. I don't want to do all of this commutation proof. I'm not sure I can get people to do that. And also, once again, this is clever and it's doing all these plus minus signs to do kind of two things at once. So what are we going to do? We've got, for us, n is this matrix. And we're going to prove that if x is an eigenvector, if x is an eigenvector of n, then so I want a plus m plus, then this vector is also an eigenvector with eigenvalue lambda plus 1. And I've changed my mind. I'm going to go for m x. I'm going to go lambda minus 1. And I need to say something about the eigenvalue. Drafting my question, right? We've got some setup, which is something about matrices that have some weird property. And then we're going to ask about eigenvectors as our kind of summer problem. And we are going to do that in a minute because I'm going to try running an ad break. I'm going to set up my the thing that lets me type mathematics because I'm running out of margin. Someone call format. I'm running out of margin, so I'm going to set that up, but I'm going to run an ad. Look at this actual stream stuff. So if you have like the thing that means you don't see ads, then I guess you see me fumbling around to set up a bit of software. Otherwise, I'll see you in a minute. Bam. Okay, it's running an ad, maybe. Kind of says it's rolling. And now it says pre-roll ads are disabled for 32 minutes. Let's put that in chat. That's the thing that I was looking for. Okay, so I'm going to load this. I'm going to see where it's loading. Where are you loading? You've loaded over there. Good. Let's go sort of in here. This is going to be like that. And it's just going to go in here, I think. Go in here. Oh, I've got to do a bit of setup, sorry. I'm going to save this and just chuck it on desktop. It's going to come over here. There we go. Okay. Nice stuff. Okay. Let's see if I've got this set up properly. I wonder if people will let me know when they're back. They haven't missed any good content. Big fan of Text Studio on this live stream. I wish that I had. Oh, I see. There's a countdown there. Right. Okay. I'm learning the interface. I'm not. Okay. It has one countdown that runs. So here's what being a Twitch streamer is really like. You click a button about something about ads, and obviously I don't see an ad when that happens. Nothing changes about like the rest of my streaming setup. Everything's just normal, except now I believe that people are looking at an advert. except maybe some of them can still see me. So I don't know if I'm like on the internet or not. That's weird. Second weird thing is that it starts 3 different egg timers. 3 different timers appear in different places. One of them says how long pre-roll off. One of them says how long the advert's going for, and there's a third hidden one that appears after a while to tell you how long until it's reloaded the concept of running adverts again, which is a different concept from how long the benefit of I can run an ad every 6.5 minutes. You can do 1.5 minutes of 32-minute ad stopping. Go and work that one out. Yeah, and they might not even do a whole minute and a half, so maybe people come back while I'm mumbling about LaTeX. People see me do the... never mind, let's just stop grumbling about it and just do some typesetting, eh? Okay, so what do we have? I am going to see if I can get away with just transposes. I suppose that n is a matrix such that I want to go m transpose minus m transpose m is the identity matrix, and then I want to see if that runs. Oh, there we go, good. Now I want to think, can I be bothered to get this looking nicer? I think not to start off with. Might come back. Suppose that. Because I do like doing my vectors like this. Oh my goodness. This is the matrix that I'm interested in. Mary gets all of the adverts, whether or not I'm running an whether or not I'm running an ad break. Mary will get the adverts. Do you think you're going to buy some BMWs now? I think that's how the adverts work, right? That it supports charity, but it also supports BMW in the sense that you buy a couple of BMWs or something. Just know, is that something that you did you feel the advert was particularly effective? It's good to have feedback. X is an eigenvector. Eigenvalue lambda. It's going to be that prove that m plus x is also an eigenvector of transpose m. Okay, this is looking really messy. I regret the x thing. Oh no. Got banned. You got timed out. I don't know how moderators work on chat. Is that something people in chat can explain Twitch to me as well? Try to outsmart the ads. Anyway, okay. And then it's going to be this. Like this. But I think I want to come back up here and say, look, let n be m transpose m. For the benefit of the stream, I think I would like the paragraph to be way more narrow. How do I do that? It's something like use package geometry, and then something like the margins huge. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. That's a bit daft. Yeah, okay, because that lets me zoom in a little bit more. Just make the text a little bit larger on the right. I've messed up my document. Looks rubbish. I need to get my friends to mod stuff. Okay, my friends are not going to like that. And then hire external mods. Yeah, so sort of paid actors after a while. What on earth am I doing? I was trying to mess around with PDF settings to try and make my PDF look nicer. Because I don't like the way my PDF looks, but whatever, we'll get there. And then we're going to change these to our new notation, calling that N. Right, okay. Yeah, I'm just going to be and find the corresponding eigenvalue. I like the idea that there are tasks to do here. How do you turn off? So there's a set length thing that I can do for. I can never remember how this. I can never remember how this works. But is it like that? No. There's a thing to turn off the indentation, but like everybody uses LaTeX, you eventually start Googling and absolutely everything you want to do. It's pretty close. That's pretty close. I'm learning. The thing I want to set is actually called par indent. I suppose the clue is that it's indent. I need the little backslash in the front. Hey, there we go. Now it's all left. No indentation at the start of each paragraph, because these are not really paragraphs. Googling, clicking on purple links for the ones that you've done before. If only there was some way for me to like save web pages that contain information I want, or just in this case, just that. You know, maybe I could, I don't know, download that text string and put it on my computer somewhere in some sort of like style file. But nah, the correct thing to do is always just start baking it from scratch, right? Okay, this is as far as we've got, I think, in terms of quantum stuff. But this is already quite fun because. Well, fun is maybe pushing it, but already there's something to do here because you've got a weird starting relationship. You've got a name for a thing. This is not quite. Yeah, there's a dead end where you think maybe this is N transpose, but it's not. And you go in and you have to prove that these work, and you find out the eigenvalues go up by 1 or down by 1. Yeah, so the eigenvectors might not be. I think in a minute I'm going to decide that I want everything to be in complex numbers and replace all the capital T's with daggers. We will get there. Right, okay, back to the maths. Because, so mumble part A is in my question now, but there's this thing about the eigenvalues being positive, which they're in the lecture notes, because of the structure of the lecture notes, they're going to refer back to 7.2. So if you do the structure where you have lemmas first and then the big statement, you find yourself, I guess, in your notes always referring back to the thing we just did. Remember, this is 7.3. Go and look at 7.2 if you want to know how to prove this. And I'm kind of flipping that a tiny bit from the question that I'm writing. So it's that if this, then okay. If you have an eigenvector, then you can do this. Right. Gosh. So in my language, that's going to be something like check that x transpose, but I don't know that the eigenvector's real. Maybe I'll just pretend that it is. There's this annoying thing that real matrices can have complex eigenvalues and complex eigenvectors, if you'll let them, and that's pretty off. Right. Okay. Right. What on earth am I doing? I know what I'm doing. I know who I am. It's this, which is then that thing, mx. It's the length of squared, which is bigger than or equal to 0. So this curious thing, which says that your eigenvalues, you can go up and down by 1, but they're all positive. So what's going on there, right? You can go up by 1, you can go down by 1, but the numbers that you get have to be positive. And there's a get out. There's something special going on at 0, where at 0 even only if you have a vector that sends mx to 0x, that's what it would mean for 0 to be an eigenvalue. But not of n, right? But this, right, okay. Dum 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 dum. So if this is 0, then you get 0. What am I doing? Translating quantum mechanics to a matrices question, adding disguises to slightly confuse my first years. Woo-hoo. Wikipedia is not a good place to learn about eigenvalues and eigenvectors. Oh, really? That's disappointing. Maybe Chill Maths is a good place to learn about eigenvalues and eigenvectors. I have a good way to do this. Chill Maths really quickly. Let's do that. That seems like a good thing to do. Whoop. Whoop. Good thing to do. That seems like a good thing to do. Okay, that thing I just said, I think I should demonstrate it, which means thinking of some matrices to show you. So there are matrices like this. Here's a matrix where it's kind of clear what the eigenvalues and eigenvectors are going to be. So an eigenvalue and eigenvector is a pair like this. If that, then x we say is an eigenvector and lambda is an eigenvalue. And for a diagonal matrix, it's pretty clear what's going to happen here, that you could have something like m, when it sees the vector 1, 0, it's going to give me back 3, 0, which is 3 times the vector I started with. And also when I see this vector, it's going to give me 2 times the vector I started with. That's pretty nice, but not ground check, not revolutionary, I suppose. There's this thing here which is like not equal to lambda 1, 1 for any lambda. For any lambda. Depends on. There we go. For any lambda. I guess they're vectors. You know, it might be the case that you get a multiple back, or it might not. Something you can do. So for my next example, I suppose I should probably come up with a more disguised version where it's less clear what the numbers are going to be. Goodness me, that is hard to do off the top of my head without giving you one where it's all complex numbers. There's this technical thing that people do to find out what the eigenvalues are, which works like this. So you can take the idea, that lambda x on the right hand side, that's a bit like a matrix multiplication in a way. I know it just says multiply by lambda, but that's a little bit like multiplying x by the vector. I've gone for 3 of them. It's a bit like multiplying x by the lambda times the identity matrix. On the right hand side, because identity matrix just returns the same vector. It's got all ones. There's a lambda over here. So if we move that on the left hand side, it's this rather cool thing where you have this thing is equal to 0. And this is some sort of matrix. I don't know lambda, I would like to know lambda. And the thing we've got here is that I'd like to find lambda such that there are vectors which get sent to 0 by this matrix in brackets. That's a bit special because normally that doesn't happen. Normally you've got some linear algebra problem here. This represents a system of equations for your components of x. And normally when you're solving a system of equations, you get a solution. And if the right hand side here is zeros, if it's all zeros down the right hand side, then the solution is going to be all zeros for my vector x. That's why, okay, and not just. So I guess obviously x equals 0 works. Anything else? And for there to be something else, for there to be non-unique solutions to this, for there to be non-unique solutions, you need some sort of repeated equation or something in there. You need some breakdown of the system of equations. I'm using waffly language to say there's a thing you learn in first year of university maths where you calculate something called the determinant of this. Which, hang on, I think you maybe learn a little bit in A level. Do people know about determinants? If you have a 2 by 2 matrix, you can calculate this thing, AD minus BC, and it tells you whether you can invert the matrix or not. Herb knows that. Okay, Neutrino knows that. Further maths, cool, right, brilliant. Okay, great. Oh yeah, I maybe went to a further maths class where we had to learn the determinant of a 3 by 3 matrix, which was quite complicated. There is a pattern, but quite a lot of work to invert 3 by 3 matrices. Okay, let's do solve linear algebra problems. Anyway, this means that if somebody shows you a weird looking matrix, and I've had some time to think, but haven't thought of anything fun, all you need to do is work out the determinant, but subtract some lambdas from the diagonal. So let's find some eigenvalues. The odds that this has nice eigenvalues are just almost tiny. To find the eigenvalues of this, you just find the determinant of this. That's just sort of calculation that I learned in A level. You can invert a 3 by 3 matrix. Oh. Yeah, I don't really feel like I've done very well here because the eigenvalues were obvious again. Were they obvious? I feel like they were less obvious this time. 1 and 3. 1 and 2. I can't multiply. So the 1 is obvious because that vector gets sent to that itself. The 2 vector? Okay, so I guess this is slightly non-trivial to find the vector afterwards. I guess at that point, when lambda is 2, you have a matrix problem like this. So if I subtract off 2, that 3 stays the same. I subtract off 2. No, it is obvious. My matrix was triangular. What on earth am I doing? So that was a waste of time. Other examples are available, and the ones that I like are ones where you have something like this. So this matrix represents a rotation. Because look, it sends the x, a vector pointing in the x direction gets sent to minus the y direction, and a vector pointing in the y direction gets sent to, if I multiply with this matrix, gets sent to the x direction. So it's kind of like a rotation around. A vector that was over here gets sent over here, and a vector that was over here gets sent over here. Rotates some things around, keeps them the same there. Aha! Hello, wild conjecture. Good username. Yeah, here we go. Because if you do the trick about subtracting lambda from the diagonal there, and you do the determinant of this matrix, then you get lambda squared plus 1. And the question is, when is lambda squared plus 1 equal to 0? And the answer is, for lambda is I, and lambda is minus I. So the eigenvalues are complex numbers, I minus I, which has got something to do with the fact that it's a rotation. So you can do analysis on matrices and transformations like this. It's so good. The vectors are, gosh, I guess the eigenvectors, you have to put complex numbers in the eigenvectors. Yeah, I think that's true. But I0 would get sent to minus I. No, what do I want to do? Just want to find some eigenvectors. Oh, is it something really weird like 1, 1? No, it's not that. What are the eigenvectors of this matrix? I've really nerd-sniped myself here. It's not 1, 1. It's not I. Ah, you can define it to be that. Yes, right. That sounds true. I haven't seen that before. But sure, yeah, go off. Yeah, if you define this to be a matrix I, A and B real, so then your complex numbers would look like this. Yeah, I haven't seen it before, but that works. These numbers behave, I guess, just like complex numbers. Yeah. I saw you're right. I wanted the same. Good. Oh, I see. That's why you said also known as I. You saw the matrix and you said that matrix is a bit like I. Yeah. 2 by 2 matrix multiplication is going to be a lot like complex numbers. It's just going to happen, however you approach it. G'day. Right. Okay. So we might have some complex numbers like this. I just want to quickly solve. I should know this, I think. But what are the eigenvectors? So my eigenvector would be something like this, where I get back x, y. I just feel like I should know this. I'm going to do the calculation. Maybe that's good because then I'm showing you how the calculation works. It's not hard. It's just the sort of thing that I feel like I should be able to do. What are these? Oh, this is fine. So these equations, it looks like a pair of simultaneous equations, but because I is an eigenvalue, these are actually the same equation. The second one is being multiplied by I, and the sides have been switched around, but they're the same information. So this just says that I need to take the vector, or a vector like 1i. Okay, I should have known that. 1i. That gets sent to I up at the top, minus 1 down here, which is like multiplying by I. I should have said somewhere that, maybe it's clear from the definition up at the top, but if x is an eigenvector, then also you can scale the eigenvector. If x is an eigenvector, then so is k times x for any scalar k. This is sort of with the same eigenvalue lambda, it just appears on both sides. It's fine, the equation is still true. So the eigenvectors are kind of directions, really. It's like kind of redundancy. This answers the question of why are we doing specifically this? Matrices are just good. Matrices are really good. Determinant is really, really good. Matrices, yeah. determinant. Excellent idea. One more fact about the determinant before we go back to quantum, which I just like. AD minus BC tells you the area of the transformation of the unit square. Gosh, that was a mouthful. So if you start with a little unit square at the origin, I suppose, doesn't really matter, but let's say at the origin, and you apply your matrix M to all of the corners. So I'm going to use this one, I think. And you apply your matrix M to all of the corners, then maybe it sort of stretches and multiplies. But because the matrix is a linear operator, you end up with something that's got linear properties. And you end up with some sort of parallelogram. And the area of that parallelogram is AD minus BC. I regret writing my vectors horizontally because I want to apply the matrix to them. Might come back and correct that in a minute. Okay, so the area of this purple parallelogram, it turns out to be AD minus BC. This is then all geometrically related. If you like thinking about things with a geometry kind of feel to them, that if the determinant is 0, it's because the parallelogram has got no area. That happens when the sides of the parallelogram are in the same direction. So your kind of column vectors of your matrix are parallel. So there's sort of some geometrical interpretations of what determinant 0 means in terms of areas of parallelograms and sides of things being parallel and redundancy in equations or something. So I threw in an algebra thing at the end there. Right, good. Okay, back to the quantum. I think we did a bit of justifying. I feel slightly justified. Learning maths. Yeah, okay. So there's a kind of get out clause at 0. I think it's not the case that good luck with your CS exam tomorrow. Yeah, good luck. So I'm not sure I want to call this an eigenvector. Maybe I do. I think the punchline is that they're the positive integers. Let's kind of have a look at the punchline. Yeah, here it is. So with remarkably little information about what this matrix is, it's you take a matrix M such that M transpose M minus M transpose is the identity, and then you get this matrix N, which has got eigenvalues for the positive integers. And these raising and lowering operators take you from one eigenvector to the next to give you the integers 1, 2, 3. The eigenvalues kind of form this nice sequence. So that's good. It's a pretty weird fact to know about a matrix. So maybe I should admit that the matrix has to be infinite dimensional in order to contain all of these eigenvalues. Sounds a bit unfortunate. The proof of this is, it looks quite messy here, but the proof of this is just, we've seen that if you take an eigenvector, for this particular problem, if you take an eigenvector and you multiply it by matrices, we've got special matrices that return new eigenvectors. We've got this way of generating other eigenvectors. You don't normally get that to go up and down between eigenvectors. But we've got it here. But we also know that all the eigenvalues are positive. So in general, there's a contradiction there, that if your eigenvalue is 3.5, then that that means that 2.5 is an eigenvalue, so 1.5 is an eigenvalue, so minus 1/2 is an eigenvalue. And there's a get out of jail card if you hit 0. Which we're going to translate into a matrix fact. Spectrum of this, and then we're going to build up. I feel like we can prove this for matrices. Or at least ask the question to some first year students to see if they can do it instead. I'm going to buy myself some time to think about what we're doing next by running another ad. Sorry, I'm trying this out as a new... People mentioned ads. I'm going to give it a go. So instead of talking about the ads, I'm going to roll an ad, start all 3 timers again, flip over all these egg timers on the Twitch interface, and I'll see you in a minute and a half for what the point of this is. You're not going to miss anything while the advert's playing, because I'm just going to stare at it. Neutrino says that I should drink a glass of water, and maybe you should have hydration. Yeah, hydration applies to everyone. Thanks for redeeming channel points. Remember to drink some water during these lovely adverts. See you in a minute and a half-ish. Oh, is it doing it? Could be. How do we get out of 0? No ads for Mary. Oh, hey. Well done, you. You won this time. Oh, no. Oh, no. Just, oh, no. Okay. It's got another BMW advert. That's amazing. How do we get this? So there's 0. Why can't I go from 0 to -1? I think that's what I want to talk about. Why can't I go from 0 to -1? Because on the one hand, I know that a minus is going to give me something. If there's a ground state, okay. If there's a ground state, if there's a ground state, mx is 0, so under a 0 case, then why can't I just do so that's my kind of ground state, then n is also 0, and this thing applied to, so if I try and do m again, that's just 0. Oh my goodness. I don't know how it decides how to do different numbers of ads for different people. It doesn't really seem fair that on the one hand, one of my viewers gets a quick, hey, just a quick check-in, see if you want to get any BMWs. Just no big deal. We'll just quickly show you some cars. And another one of my viewers just gets like 5 different like products of like, here's loads of things. I sort of worry about whether, yeah, okay, it checks if you're worried. I sort of worry about whether Twitch is in some sense checking if you're worried. According to, like, I don't know, if you engage with some adverts, does it? If you engage with any of the adverts, don't do that. No one can help. No one can help if you engage with the adverts. Right, I hope everyone's remembering to stay hydrated, and if you've looked at the screen for an hour, then, oh gosh. I am going to try and understand why the lovely argument about subtracting 1 doesn't work if you're at 0. And I'm going to do that by typing up what I think is the solution to my question so far. Okay, there you go. Ad breaks for planning what I'm doing. It's a new concept, so that I can go quiet for a minute. I can go quiet for a minute and a half. So I can go quiet for a minute and a half and work out what I'm doing. Has it worked? We'll find out. So there's going to be a solution down here. Oh, Text Studio is so good. I love Text Studio. Okay. Right. So prove that M transpose X, and I am going to change all of these to daggers. Is it just dagger for that? Is that what I want? What I really, really want. That'll do. Lovely. Okay, let's put some of those in here and here and here and here. Oh, I felt like slightly too many. Just the right number. Good. Okay. So the solution is going to have to be something like n when you see m dagger x is equal to, and then use the definition of n, m dagger x. Really, I should do this on a bit of paper or something first, rather than just going for it. But here we are. Here we are. Yeah, we did this on a bit of paper over here, didn't we? The thing I did before. Did I actually write it out? Maybe I didn't. Maybe I should. Maybe that would help me understand. Get it back at 7.2. No, 7.2. Yep, 7.2. Oh gosh, okay, so I've flummoxed myself. Oh, right, okay. So you can switch the order of those things, but it comes at a price. Yeah, this feels like something my students can get stuck on. I've got an M dagger, and I'm going to use the fact at the top of the page to turn that into a I plus M dagger M. I've missed a dagger up here. Oh, keyboard reveal. I've got some sort of random Logitech thing. Yay. Keyboard. Which I got a while ago. It is mechanical. It is maybe too loud, which is what people always say, isn't it? But I got it because it goes with my mouse, which is the stupidest reason to choose a keyboard. But I chose the one that goes with my mouse. I was building a computer from scratch. I thought, you know what? I think I'll just get one that matches, and they'll be pretty when they're sitting next to each other. And then I told my friend who's into mechanical keyboards that I'd got a keyboard, and he said, "Oh, did you get a mechanical keyboard?" Like, yeah. I said, he wanted to know about my mechanical keyboard. And I thought, oh, no, I've just got the one with the same. I'm not really interested in keyboards. I'm really sorry. Arguably, my story doesn't even make sense because I could just buy a different mouse. I don't know. I don't know what colour the switches are underneath because I think it's proprietary. I don't know. No, I did choose. This is something I chose at some point. There was a thing of like red and brown and blue. You could choose what sort of switches. I can't remember what I picked. I found that the process of building a PC I really enjoyed. I liked it quite a lot. I enjoyed researching, I enjoyed looking up the stuff, I enjoyed getting the bits, I enjoyed putting all the pieces together, I enjoyed having a computer that boots up and has some custom, has some control over what the computer's like. But then I found that once I built the computer, I kind of really quickly lost all interest in building computers. I don't know, once I had one. And now I've got one, I don't really need a second one. So I sort of quickly moved on from the hobby before it became a kind of part of what I was doing. What am I doing right now, for example? It's a good question. It doesn't look very true, whatever I'm doing. Oh, that's I plus n, isn't it? So this is going to be m dagger. I plus n is going to be something like, I think I will leave alone, but n applied to that vector because it's an eigenvector. It's going to give me lambda x. So it's got eigenvalue lambda plus 1. Maybe I should bring out the 1 or something. Bring out the number 1 over here. And probably, if I was writing this up as an actual solution, I would put in lines of why this is true for each line. I'm being lazy, partly because of Twitch. Does Twitch make me lazier as a person? Maybe, it's weird. It's making me do something. Otherwise I'd just be like on my phone or something. I'm really struggling to remember what the definition of n at the top. I sort of regret defining n at the top here. Oh, I suppose it would be bad anyway, wouldn't it? Okay, this is the one I care about right now. Again, that's the kind of error message that you get if you miss a $sign. Because I think this is the one where I'm going to flip a sign around or something. I remember doing this about an hour ago. What am I doing? So I think I'm going to use the fact at the top. This is me now struggling to do my own question, which is fun. Maybe shows I didn't understand what I was doing when I typed the top bit. Yeah, so it's just going to be like mm dagger minus I mx, right? That much. And then that first bit is, I can rewrite it as m dagger m x minus, and that's just lambda x. No, that's not lambda x, that's just mx. Whoop. So I've regrouped terms here to reveal that that's n. Aha, right, good, okay. So this is not that bad. Eigenvector. Ah, but if, okay. Okay, so the thing I'm going to try and understand is that, what if lambda, spelling, wow, terrible spelling. Because -1 is not really an eigenvector. What if lambda is 0? Oh, then mx is 0. So we get the 0 vector in this stuff over here. And when you try to do this m thing, sure, you get the number -1, but you have the vector that you've made is the 0 vector. Ah, right, okay. So the 0 vector is a little bit misleading because you see the matrix up here, right? You sort of have this question, well, is there a vector? Is there a vector such that mx is equal to 5x? And my answer is kind of no, the eigenvalues are 3 and 2, but also kind of the answer is yes. Is there a vector such that mx equals 5x? That's the question of, is 5 an eigenvalue? And this is kind of like, well, kind of yes, because 3002 times the 0 vector is 5 times the 0 vector. So really my question should be non-zero. And the 0 vector is not considered an eigenvector in the definition, I suppose. Non-zero. Okay, so if you could have a 0 eigenvalue. You could have a 0 eigenvalue, though, if your matrix is something like this, where there's kind of a genuine vector that gets sent to 0 times that genuine vector that's a lot of zeros. That's kind of a genuine vector. But the 0 vector probably shouldn't count. It's not the 0 vector. Okay, and then this algebra we've done. This is good practice for my first years with algebra. They're supposed to be really good at this sort of thing. They've noticed this faster than me. This algebra thing says, okay, sure, you were trying to make the eigenvalue -1. If you run this last line of reasoning with the value lambda equals 0, because maybe you've got some genuine vector that no tricks gets sent to 0 by n, which could happen if m sends it to 0, then then sure, you get this line of reasoning out where it says -1. But this vector is now the 0 vector, which doesn't count as a proper eigenvector. So it stops. So our chain of reasoning has this get out to stop and say, no, actually, we're not going to build any more eigenvectors. We're going to build the 0 vector. And then if you try and do it again, you get the 0 vector again and again and again and again. And sure, fine, that like -5 times -5 kind of works in all the lines of reasoning, but the vectors become the 0 vector eventually. Okay, so the question needs to be, something like in here, part 2. Let's do some LaTeX for this. Let me begin. I'd like enumerate. So that part 1 is here. So the way lists work is super nice. If you've ever had to do like a bullet point list and then wish that you'd indented or changed all the indenting afterwards, stuff like that is just much easier with LaTeX, because you have this kind of environment stuff where you declare your environment and do everything in there. I don't know. This is a LaTeX stream now. We're promoting LaTeX. Right. This is going to be something like prove that if, I think I want nx equals 0, then mx is 0. So should I not say eigenvector here? Because it might be 0. Yeah. What do they say in these notes to get around this? This is great. It's forcing me to appreciate the kind of subtleties of what's going on. Okay, so they are saying eigenstates provided they are non-zero. There it is. It was right in front of me, but there were so many things right in front of me that I didn't see that one. Provided they are non-zero. Okay, I'm going to put something like this in here. Right, I want to be... I kind of want it to be exactly the same as the previous part, but also I want it to be a little bit different. Is either 0 or it's just it gives it away that there's something going on here. So I sort of want something where a mischievous question, right? So I like to sort of mislead people a tiny bit. So that makes you think about whether it's non-zero or not. Oh yeah, which could be true because we don't know yet whether lambda is -1 or something. Which would then correspond, you know, this might have been like prove that if it's non-zero, it's an eigenvector. And then I think down here somewhere. So this is my kind of idea of where we're going next. Not path. do something about when is this true. Oh, that looks, no, I don't love this because people will just write out n plus m and then try and tell me that this thing's got an inverse or something, which it might not. So now it's time, I think, to say that that thing about the length of the vectors instead. So maybe not this. So I kind of want to move to this thing about the eigenvalues being all positive. This is for this kind of interesting, almost contradiction that on the one hand, the eigenvectors come in a chain where you can add one or subtract one from the eigenvalue, and there's another eigenvector there, assuming that it's not zero. But on the other hand, all of the eigenvalues are positive or zero, which means that you need your chain to stop at zero, which means it's a chain going up and down by one with zero in it. That's the counting numbers. That's the integers, hooray. Might be fun to try and remix this so it's not the integers, right? If I put 2 at the top. Yeah, if I put 2 up here. If you put 2 here, then all of the i's down here become 2 i's, and it's lambda plus 2 and lambda minus 2, which is quite fun, because then the chain of eigenvalues goes up and down by 2, and you'll get the even numbers as your eigenvalues. That's my idea of some fun. Good, right, I just hit a weird button. Finish something 3 and it's deleted. No, okay, it's kind of still there. Did you do the length of vectors things? It's still sort of there. I'm considering it. I'm maybe rephrasing it to have more of a hint. Are you solving my question before I've written it? I guess we've already seen some quantum stuff that helps you do it. Right. So I think this is going to have to be check that. I had a line in the notes somewhere. This. What do I want this to be? Slightly tempting to start the word bath. Something like this. Oh, I'm really mixing up my notation here. The good thing about LaTeX is you get more control over what the kind of notation looks like. And that's very consistent. The bad news is that you have to kind of define what you're doing all along, all the time. Maybe I could define a kind of shorter string for this somewhere, like set command. Can't be bothered. Which means I can't grumble about it. What am I doing? So this is going to be use that mx 0 or this is going to be the left hand side. It's going to be this. And then I like a kind of open-ended bit, so let's keep placing all these x's with bold x's because they're vectors. I never really know how far I want to take this with my policy is to bold vectors, but then it leads to this kind of slight ugliness where I want that one bolded because it's a vector, but that one's a number, that's a scalar, so I don't bold it, and then it looks a bit funny having both in the same line. So I don't really know if I'm helping or not. Right, what am I doing? Deduce that over. Maybe. Okay, looking good. Right, so then an eigenvalue, if you threw an eigenvalue in here, can we do some fun stuff up the top? Like, this thing's symmetric, right? I think. Yeah. The thing's symmetric. It's pretty good. That's self-adjoint because it corresponds to an operator that you can actually observe. Is that what being self-adjoint means? Sort of, maybe? No, can't remember. Quantum. Okay, and this is going to have to be this punchline at the end then. Right, what's this? About the eigenvalues of n. Murray says internet is unstable. If we lose you, I'm sorry to have lost you. Okay. Okay, so this is looking a bit like the quantum question. Oh, it's expanded way too much. I can't have it over there. You can't see that bit of the screen. Kind of like it. I want to do some bit at the start or something. To be something like prove that n dagger equals n and the eigenvalues of n are real and so that works because I'm not keeping up with my solution now. But something like that. Bit of formatting while I talk. It's a challenge. The first years have learnt this thing about symmetric matrices that I would like to try to use here. Symmetric matrices have real eigenvalues, and mumble, I can vectors corresponding to different eigenvalues are orthogonal or something. Good luck, Murray. Right. Okay, so a bit of formatting while I talk. The challenge here is to try and actually make this work as a live stream at the same time as just sort of doing a maths task that I need to do. Maybe I don't absolutely have to. I didn't mean itemize, I meant enumerate. Full control. And then 4 is something like, so my solution is not yet typed out. 4 is something like there's not a spelling live stream. I think my keyboard accuracy has been pretty low throughout. This is one of those things, I suppose. I never really learnt to type, which is yeah, that looks good. So then this bit here is equal to, that's just what it means to be the size of mx squared. And then this bit at the top, yeah, I'm enjoying this. Okay. Yeah, I like this bit at the top because it clearly sets the scene as this being a linear algebra question, which is then kind of the point of this activity, I suppose, that you can do quantum mechanics with linear algebra. This is going to be a mess to type out. So the rule for if you have AB and you want the transpose, then what you do is B transpose A transpose. The A and B I've got here are already transposey sort of things. So I think I might just write out what this is. What am I doing? I'll go M dagger and then I'll go M 2 daggers. Because it has to reverse and then flip, and the first one ends up with 2 daggers on it. There is a double dagger symbol in the symbol set, I think. Maybe not. Huh. Time to get out my favourite tool, which is a classifier for finding latex symbols. It's so good. So you draw your latex symbol that you want, and it has a look for what it might be. Oh, I didn't know you could just do dag instead of dag. So I want a kind of double one. No, is it not a thing? I was pretty sure this was the thing. Maybe not. Ooh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of. This tool is so good. You want like an integral symbol with a circle on it because you've forgotten how to do that. It usually gives you, depending on your drawing skills, some sort of quite esoteric thing, and then you want maybe the shortest one. Ooh, integral around a square. G'day. The alternative is that people just we used to just look through symbols a4.pdf, which is this one PDF with loads and loads of latex symbols in. I think, which you just sort of scroll, and it's got some sections, but it's got all of these. Depending on what you're doing, you can try and find the right place. Subsets backwards and forwards. Detechify is amazing. It's been going for quite a while as well. Who do I thank for this? I like this. We can look at the code. Thank you, Philip Cool, at the bottom here. Had the idea, and Danny Kirsch made it happen. Whoops, I should read the whole attribution. Well done, both of you. Yeah, check your website at some point. Right, good. Okay. This was not a thing, so we're going to go 2 of these. Good. Oh, it's not happy with me because I didn't close the curly bracket. Classic. Yeah. Detechify. So good. At the moment, all of the weight of the question is in that last part. Which I don't love, so I think I'm going to review that a little bit. Wait, this question 2 needs a suppose that. It needs a context. Oh no, it's up here. Yeah, I think I want that. Suppose that. Yeah, so move for speed. Maybe I merge those. Put that in here. And then maybe I will do that merge thing that they've got. To do them both at the same time. If they're not 0, then and mx. This is going to mess up the part numbering. Sorry, everyone. Are also eigenvectors of n. Find corresponding value for use. Eigenvalue Stop. Prove that this afterwards. So then quickly in my solution. There are ways to get this to update at the same time, but I'm not so good at that. Not so good at this. Right, what am I doing? What am I doing? Do I need to run an ad while I work out what I'm doing? No, we can get there. Proof that this. Proof that this. For all x. Let's put some more constraints in here for what we're doing. Deduce that either mx is 0 or for any x, I think I'm going to go. Right, okay. So M is a... Now I want it to be a matrix, but I think I do need to add something to the question to admit that it's an infinite dimensional matrix. How do I get away with this? I could just not say it. I could just not say it, and then it'll be a weird kind of follow-up. But this has to be an infinite dimensional case. There are no examples. There are no examples of matrices like this that have this property if you're finite dimensional, because you would be able to do this proof that all the eigenvalues come in this like chain where you can keep generating these vectors that have new eigenvalues, and there's a limit to how many eigenvalues you can have in finite dimensional matrices. The limit is the number of dimensions. Prove that for any x, this thing, deduce that either mx is 0 or that thing is positive. Is it just true that the eigenvalues are positive for any symmetric matrix? That's the stupidest thing I've said today. No, symmetric matrices can have negative numbers in on the diagonal from return, all sorts of negative numbers. So it's kind of special. It's so open-ended at the end at the moment with this bit. I think before I release this to any first years, I'll just think about that. Oh, and I've got a bit of time on the stream. At the moment, I'm happy with the first few bits, because that first bit is just linear algebra. Oh, haven't written up a solution. Haven't written up a solution, maybe should. Let's do that a little bit. The word here is Hermitian, isn't it? There's a standard proof for this, which I'm going to try and recreate by just typing it. Doesn't seem like a good idea, does it? No, this is just how it works though. If, that was a great start, if nx is equal to lambda x, then it goes something like this. Take that, like this, is equal to, and you bring this in here as well, because that's what's going on. Okay, so works like this, but then the first thing on the left there is x dagger. I'm regretting all the daggers going on, but only in the sense that I regret their presence in my life, I suppose. And the second one is dagger, x dagger, yes. So lambda equals lambda. I think I'm supposed to write star for this. Is it S, like that? Yeah, good. Asterisk. put that in here. Lambda nx. Oh my goodness. Just this. So good. Okay. Lambda. Oh, I didn't want the n this time around. Lambda x. Yeah, nice. Okay. And then I'll pull it out as well. So there's a step in here where the eigenvalue appears inside one of these complex conjugates. So it's being complex conjugated. This calculation comes up weirdly many times in just different contexts. Let's make it larger. So I'm going to grab the whiteboard quickly. Here's the calculation that's going on. I'll do it without. Okay. So I've got this. And I've got this with this matrix in the middle, where it's a dagger, which I've said so many times, means that you do the complex conjugate and transpose. So it's like a complex version of matrix transpose. So M the dagger means you do the complex conjugate and you transpose it. Flip it, change all the i's to minus i's. And this has got nice properties that if you have a vector, then that's the same thing as doing something like this. If you have two matrices, then they change order when you do this. There's a bunch of stuff they learn in first year. Anyway, if n is equal to this, so that means that it's not quite a symmetry thing. Well, it can. So reading down the diagonal, I'll do it your way around. There's the top corner there, and there's the diagonal there. Along the diagonal, everything's real. It's equal to its complex conjugate along that line. And then in the top corner, there might be some entries there that are complex numbers. And down here in this corner, there are some complex numbers that are sort of the mirror image of those ones, in the sense that the real part's the same, and the imaginary part is opposite sign. So, example of a matrix like this is something like 1, 3, 2 plus I, 2 minus I. Then when you do the complex conjugate and then the transpose, you get back to where you started. Looks like this I turns into a minus. This I turns into a minus I and gets transposed over there. Okay. That means that you can read this sort of statement two ways. I've seen this proof turn up in so many different disguises and so many different parts of the maths degree, so whatever. You can read this in two different ways. On the one hand, we've got this nx here. So this might be like nx plus nx. And on the other hand, we've got this one over here. So this might be like an nx times an nx. Which sort of says that you could have the nx on the right, we could have it on the left. Whether or not it's been complex conjugated is sort of up for discussion. Okay, so on the left here, maybe if nx is like lambda x, and the proof I want to do just sort of continues and says that, okay, then you get lambda x over here, and you get lambda x over here, but it's inside this conjugate. So this is just this. And now either the vector is the zero vector, and we were playing silly games, but if it's not the zero vector, then we've got some positive quantity on both sides, which we can divide by. So if x is not zero. I've used the fact there that x, complex conjugate and transpose, x is bigger than or equal to 0. So this says something like if you have a vector like this, and if you do A conjugate, B conjugate, C conjugate, A, B, C, if you do those as a kind of matrix multiplication, but really just the dot product, then you get A star plus B, B star plus C, C star, which is a sum of positive or zero things, and it's only 0 if all of those components were 0. So it's equality if and only if vector is 0. Anyway, real eigenvalues. I've seen this come up so many times in so many different places. I've said that phrase a couple of times. I'm thinking most about well, the course I actually teach in second year is about differential equations, where we have solutions to differential equations, and there's a particular class of differential equations where linear differential equations, and they have their own kind of properties that are a bit like this. You do integration by parts. It's actually really fun. The version of it for differential equations. So just to show you something that looks nothing like quantum mechanics or matrices or any linear algebra stuff. Just to wrap up, for differential equations, you can have things like this. So if you take differential equations like this, maybe I'll talk about differential operators or something. So you could have this thing that you do to y, which has got some differentiation in it and some multiplying by numbers. So the operator has a kind of, no, what am I doing? Okay, where am I going with this? This one is self-adjoint, which means something like if you have an integral of f of x, g prime prime of x plus 3g of x, then you can move that over to be an operator over here acting on f instead. G of x. Mumble with 0 PCs. Boundary. Mumble boundary conditions. Mumble boundary conditions. That these integrals might be equal, moving the kind of operation onto the other function. And you prove that by integration by parts. And then this is quite good because this gives you the shorthand way to write this is that you've got like f, and you've got g, and people put brackets around it to make it look more like quantum mechanics. That's not the reason why. Zoe is doing CS revision. Who else is doing the CS exam? Someone else is doing a CS exam tomorrow. Good luck with the CS exam. Yeah. We've been mostly talking about quantum, Zoe, with a tiny bit of linear algebra at the end. Yeah. And there is an unofficial Discord, which I can't remember the link for. That's how unofficial it is. Good. What am I doing? Ah, well done, Streamlabs. I have a command for that. Wow. That's so unofficial. It's so unofficial to have a automatic moderator thing with a command set up that links to it. Right, wow. I have not explained this well at all. I think the thing that makes me feel better is that I haven't explained it for very long, and in some sense I really haven't explained it. So I think I just pretend I didn't say anything about that. Go back to my quantum. Precisely. Ooh, whoops. Right. Okay. Have fun with your CS. Right. I wonder if Zoe got any pre-roll ads because the timer ran out. All of the Twitch timers ran out. So, despite having all of those ad breaks, maybe the only time that someone's joined the stream, maybe they did get some pre-roll ads. Oh dear. That is no longer warm. Right. I think this is pretty good overall. I'm coming back to it with slightly fresh eyes. I think done a weird bit about different equations. Suppose that this is true. Let m be that. Prove that this. Yeah, right. But you give me a definition that the eigenvalues of n are real. That's a standardy thing. Suppose that x is an eigenvector of. Oh, and I can call that n now, can't I? Fresh eyes. Suppose that n. Prove that if they're non-fit 0, then these vectors are also eigenvectors of n, and find the corresponding eigenvalues. So lambda plus 1 and lambda minus 1. Prove that for any x, this thing is equal to the square. Deduce that either that is 0 or that thing is positive. Right, so the people are going to answer the last one. Oh, I've got one there. People are going to answer that last one just by saying they're positive. So we maybe need more of a prompt here. Combining the previous two parts, what can you say about the prove that? Here we go. Not there we go. Let's make this more esoteric. Okay. Now it's a meme, because the question sheet I'm writing already has a weird appearance of the number 16 over 21. That'll make people think maybe they're connected. Nah, just wanted a number between 0 and 1. Okay. Okay. Prove that 16 over 21 is not an eigenvalue of n. I already regret this, I think it's too silly. Yes, Chase must really like 16 over 21. I saw Herb's got a chemistry exam, so good luck with your chemistry exam, Herb. Oh, gosh, I hope people are also like revising, and maybe this is like a break from revision. Is it daft having proved that 1/3 is not an eigenvalue of n, and then the clearly much stronger what are the eigenvalues of n? It is a bit weird having both, isn't it? I think I want them to do that, but to prove that 1/3 is not an eigenvalue of n, what on earth are they going to do? Yeah, maybe I've just moved all my problems to how do you prove that 1/3 is not an eigenvalue of n? Okay, it's going to be using the previous two parts. Did you? Oh, let's go. Hence, deduce. There we go. That's a good code for we've been going somewhere with this. The eigenvalues are all positive or 0. But if you have an eigenvalue, you can generate a new eigenvector that use the same initial values in all the questions. And then there's one question where it's not in it's like some really horrible looking integral, but it doesn't feature the magic number anywhere. So you're like, maybe the answer is the magic number. Is it a trick where the answer is 16 over 21? Oh dear. I don't really like the kind of mind games, I suppose. Right. This is no longer a question. If a non-zero BF X. I wish I'd written a command for this. Don't make me watch the video of me saying I couldn't be bothered. I've recorded myself saying I can't be bothered to do a thing and then regretting it. No! If there were a non-zero x with eigenvalue 3, then eigenvalue 1/3, then okay, positive, so mx is non-zero. Here on this, and never both. So this is non-zero. Okay, I'm going to put this little hint up here. Deduce that this thing or that thing. Because it really is. Have you hit 0? No, you missed. Well, okay, then you get this new thing down here. So mx is non-zero and has eigenvalue minus 2/3. So the eigenvalues are all positive or 0. There we go. I think that's the sort of proof I was looking for at the end. Oh, I've written it into the question. Perfect, no notes. We're all the way down here for this. Okay. Hence deduce that 1/3 is not an eigenvalue of n. I love it as a question. If there were a non-zero x with eigenvalue 1/3, then this thing, so the proof goes like this, would be positive, which is precisely what we just did, because it's 1/3. That case. In that case on the right, that's 1/3. We've just had the idea about putting an eigenvector in, so that we see an eigenvalue come out. Eigenvalue 1/3, then that thing would be positive. So mx is non-zero. If it was 0, then it would be that. Okay. And has eigenvalue minus 2/3 from part 2. But the eigenvalues are all positive or 0. Part 3, contradiction. Contradiction. And in fact, the eigenvalues are to avoid this sort of thing. Which is the eigenvalues. It's irritating that it's possible n doesn't have a ground state. So I can go in the middle here and split it up a little bit more. Suppose that there is a vector, a non-zero vector, x such that x is 0. That'll be eigenvalues of n. Okay, because you need that kind of ground state to get started if you want to actually say there are just like any eigenvalues at all. Infinite dimensional matrix is a bit weird. Right, good. Analyze the foreshadowing echoing used in this maths exam. Okay, I think it's gone a little bit long there, and so is the stream. Just want to go just for. Can I do that? Oh, I can maybe install the package at the top. No, the package is called enumerate. Sorry for the error noises. There we go, that's pretty neat because then it uses Roman numerals. Quick edit to make it use Roman numerals. We lost that bit, that's gone. Oops. And there as well, to match up. Okay, good, right. Okay, I think we got somewhere. I wasn't sure we would actually write the question in the stream. That's the question. I guess it needs a tagline at the end. For more, what's it going to be? For more, it's kind of fit of these. So the format of these is that they all look like this, and then there's the code name for the course, which is like I can't remember the number, and I can't remember the name of the course. and I can't spell mechanics. But other than those kind of small technical details, so it's going to be, other than those small technical details, John, the snappy thing to put in here. And the others say things like, for more on this technique, not very snappy, for more wave speed effects, cool. I was going to mention the infinite dimensional thing. Maybe. I sort of don't want to say infinite dimensional matrix M up here, because that sounds scary. And I don't want to say a linear operator, because that sounds unfamiliar. I would just kind of like to be a matrix. Maybe the thing is that there's no such matrix. There's only a linear operator that does this. Maybe I am just sort of encouraging people to cut corners by trying to use matrix notation. Maybe at the end, what have we done? Is encourage people to cut corners by using matrix notation for a thing that's not really a matrix because it's a linear transform. Yeah. I think I'm going to avoid mentioning infinity, and possibly someone's going to be very, very cross with me for saying matrix. Maybe there's a note at the end. Right at the end. Right at the end of the solution. I haven't really decided if I'm giving them the solution. Okay, what goes here? Ooh, error. I don't know why I've hit that error. So just unhappy with me, please. Maybe it's just unhappy with me for these. For more quantum C810. I think it's 810. Yeah, we're now just wrapping up stream, tidying up, filling in all the missing bits and pieces. That's no longer active. It is A11 quantum mechanics. You choose some courses at the start of second year. So within the maths degree, there's lots of optional bits and pieces. Let me show you a quick list. This is the courses page for the maths course. And they have this kind of course planner thing they can use, where they can look at, so part A is second year, and they all do these ones, and then they have some choices about whether they're going to do like quantum theory and topology and fluids or something. I'll pick up a few for second term. The terms are called Hilary and Trinity, Michaelmas, Hilary, Trinity in that order. Maybe I'll do integration as well, and then I'm definitely doing these ones. And then the point of this page is that there are loads and loads of courses in part B in third year, like just so many courses that require some stuff from second year. So as I tick these, it's updating to show me that I still shouldn't really do commutative algebra in third year because I didn't pick. If I hover, it'll tell me. It's not enjoying showing me that. Okay, well, this is not very happy, is it? Probably because I didn't do algebra. Yeah. This is a fun, like, little planning. Yeah, this is kind of the skill tree, but it overlaps and intersects quite a lot because often on a skill tree you have like one thing that unlocks several things, whereas this is a bit more of a many-to-many function. That you have several prerequisites that each unlock kind of in combination lots of them. I guess you could do that by. You do see that sometimes on like skill tree stuff where you have like lots of things. You need lots of prerequisites to unlock something. But that tends to be the case that these things, especially some of these things in fourth year down here. Look at the list of fourth year options at the moment. Oh, brilliant stuff. Limit theorems and large deviations in probability. Large deviations in probability. Nice. It does probably need to be turned into a graph. I'm not sure it's very pretty though. Back when I was at uni, we tried to work out if the graph of prerequisites was planar or not. Like this graph that you're describing, where you join things if that course requires the previous course. It's possible that the graph's not planar, so drawing it would need some lines to cross. In the end, we found out that for the degree we were doing at the time, it was planar. So you could draw the whole thing. And then we did. I don't know if that's true. Is this course planner available to the public? Super Snowman. Yeah. Not only is the course planner available to the general public, so I'm just on courses.maths.ox.uk. Not only is the course planner available to the general public, but these are all live links to the courses. They're all listed on there. So, for example, we've been talking about quantum. You click there, goes to quantum. Maths department's amazing. And it's just kind of like the lecture notes. This is the doc that we've been looking at today. Down, blimey, down here somewhere. Sorry, the scrolling's probably not very good on your eyes. Oxford Maths has put all their lecture notes up. There is something similar for Maths and Computer Science. Let me find it. Look at me being helpful. I think I can find it faster than you, but that's not a guarantee. Okay, now we're playing this. Do I want the handbook? Handbook's probably quite a good place to be. So I could look. Handbook's a PDF with information in it. What has happened here with their PDF title? Okay. Thanks for the course. What do I want? Yeah, I want to find about courses in Pi. Okay, math courses, but then, yeah, okay, so the CS one is more of a table of stuff. I'm not sure how much they upload about, well, they have syllabus and things. I'm not sure they upload all their lecture notes. Yeah, but they do give a reading list and some syllabus. Okay, so for CS, I'm going to point you to, it turned out to be quite straightforward. Which doesn't seem to have, I don't think I've seen a kind of course planner skill tree thing on the CS page. But sometimes the place to look is student. Yeah, student space is a good place to be. Information for current students. What can I find? Online resources and library. You see, I can sign into stuff. So maybe that's. They don't put that. I don't think they don't put lecture notes on the web in the same way that maths do. Okay, cool. We played the website. I'm going to call it there, I think. Thanks for watching live stream today. Mostly me writing some homework for my students, but I'm happy with that. Happy with what we've built there. I can go right on the sheet. Might remove some words. Might edit it down. Yeah, have a good week. Neutrino learned stuff. That's nice. Thanks. I achieved what I needed. Neutrino learned some stuff about eigenvalues. Turns out you can do a whole quantum stream where nobody has to say any quantum words at any point except whole numbers. Oh, that's the punchline, I suppose. When people say quantum mechanics, the quantum refers to the presence of the whole numbers turning up in problems. So that's why I picked this one, because this is a problem where the eigenvalues are quantized in the sense that they're the whole numbers, with not, they've got big gaps between the big jumps. Quantum. Energy levels. That's what, sorry, that's what we've done. We've done energy levels. I've realised I should have said some quantum stuff in the last 2 hours. Energy levels are quantized. So, oh, wow, okay. You get a particular amount of energy when an electron hits your oscillator. More quantum words are available. Have a good week, everyone. Take care. I'll see some of you on Thursday for Matt live stream. I'll see some of you next week, I think. This feels like a good moment to check what I'm doing next week. Am I streaming next week? Might as well. Might as well. Okay, take care. Bye.